Okay, and so welcome today to this. Make sure I have my mic on. Oh yes, you're on. Um, to this little talk we're going to have today, Sunday, um, April 5th. You know, in Christianity they celebrate Palm Sunday. It's supposed to be like the triumphant entry, but I'm going to be talking about the economy today. And when I mention economy, I'm referring to the translation for the word the bar. That's the best translation in English that I can think of the word the bar for. For the words that stand Daleth, Beth, Resh. The Daleth is a gate or a door signifying administration or government. The Beth is a floor plan or a house or a building or a tower. And the Resh is the ruler or the rules. So it's the administration of the house of rules or the house of the ruler. So anything that pictures that in this world is a picture of that. So the best word in English I can think of, or even in Spanish, is economy. Eco means house, and nomos means law, so the house of rules. And so that's how high the Hebrew expresses, uses the word the bar for word. You know, that's we translate it as word, but word here in the West is just anything. It's just an instrument that you use to express yourself. But the way it's introduced there is as an economy, okay? Because the word of the Creator is not the words of creators are not just to be used for us consumers use them, just to name a product, to use it and abuse it. The work of a creator is to instruct and give guidelines, you know, and to present a word full of its definitions and full of its meaning. And I've been talking about that. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to elevate the esteem that should be given to the dabar, to the word, as the Creator uses it. And we're going to understand the first economy for which it was given. Okay, so let me see if I can start here with a song that I think will be good for today. Let me think if I can see this one I'm looking for here. I think is this one. Yes. And I'm gonna, yeah, this is a song. I'm on a larger screen. I think I can do that. I'm just learning how to use this program here. All right, not bad. And so this is a song, you know, for it's for Israel, you know, and for the rest of the world. We're going to start with Psalm 118, and then we're going to do to Psalm 117. This way you're going to learn a whole chapter, by the way. Psalm 117 is a whole chapter, 2 verses long, but it's a whole chapter. But this is the things that I do, you know. I use the gift of song to help people memorize the word. And this is my plan this decade to be able to memorize, not necessarily memorize, but put all the Psalms into songs in this, this decade that we started. That's my plan. And that's why, Hashem willing or Lord willing, it will be done. But this is the plan. I made a lot of Psalms into songs already. I love Psalms, but let's see if I remember how it goes. So we're going to start with the first 2 verses of Psalm 118, and then we're going to do Psalm 117. So it's, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, because his mercy endureth forever. Let Israel now say that his mercy endureth forever." Now this is repeated a few times here. Put it a little closer here so you can see it. All right, so that's good. I like how this thing works out. I like the screen can be enlarged. Yeah, that's a cool program. First time I'm using it, by the way. This is one of those Filmora 9 Wondershare. All right, but in any case, let me try this one here. So, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, because his mercy endureth forever. Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, because his mercy endureth forever. Let Israel now say right? Hopefully, probably we'll sing it at the end of this whole thing. But now I want to share with you some of the songs that I was practicing earlier today during the noontime outside, my little garden in the back. And I'll share this with you right now. Let me just get the screen and put this one up. All right, this sounds looking good. Okay, so this is the one. So this is took place outside. Let me see if I can just take over the whole screen. Oh, it takes over the whole screen. Perfect. All right, let me play this one. All right. So good day to you all of you, all the gatherers of the cloud this morning, or this, right now it's noontime in my area here. But anyhow, I decided to go ahead and share this moment of song with you, and I'll have a message afterwards. But this is a very prophetic and historical moment. Really, for Christianity, this is Palm Sunday, celebration of the triumphant entry, I suppose. And I want to celebrate this Palm Sunday, the historical, prophetic Palm Sunday, as the unmatchable, unincomparable, or matchless triumph of a functioning economy. I'm going to be speaking today about the functioning economy, and that in reference to something equivalent to what the word dabar is in Hebrew. Dabar in Hebrew is word. So I will explain today this unmatchable, this matchless, by the way, incomparable economy and the success of that original economy. And that's going to be a point of reference to compare everything else. So this is going to be the start of it. So I'm out here in the back patio, using it as a background because, I'm tired of being at home all day. This is my little back patio there. I have a little garden going in the background. But let's see if we can learn some songs, let's see here. Can find my picks. I'm going to have to strum it with my nails here. Let's see if we can do the one from Joshua 1:8, because this is based upon what I'm talking today. Joshua 1:8 goes, "This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night." Okay, so that's the one I'm talking about. Let's see if I can recall here now. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou shalt meditate. Okay, all right, let's try again. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, shall meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. The book of the law, the book of the law, the book of the law shall not depart. The book of the law, the book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. That's your one name. The book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, for thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. The book of the law, the book of the law, the book of the law shall not depart. The book of the law, the book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. Last time. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, for thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. For then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. The book of the law, the book of the law, the book of the law shall not depart. The book of the law, the book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. As some of you know, I was able, for a long time, I was able to write songs, but not, like at the drop of a hat whenever I wanted to. But I remember exactly when the gift was given. It was in my birthday, December 25th, 1996. 17 years after being serious into Scripture. Remember, I started studying the Scripture seriously at the age of 19, 1979. 17 years later, that was 1996. All right, so then, and 17 is the number for tub. I remember that day was my birthday. For some reason, nobody said happy birthday to me that day, nor gave me a gift nor a card, I don't know what happened in that day, but I remember that very clearly. And I just remember I picked up my guitar that day, and I was just singing some songs, and I came up with some songs I was singing. And I said, that's very nice. I made like 2 songs in a row, And I said, wow, that never happened before. I said, if I can do that again. And then I did 3 more songs in a row. I just invented them out of the blue. And then I said, wow, I never done 5 songs in a row in one day, So I kept going, and I did 10 songs that day. I remember I came up with songs, that I was just, and like some of them were Bible verses, all of them were just secular songs that I was picking on my own. And I thought, this is very interesting. I never seen that happen before. So I said, and the next day, on the 26th, I said, well, I'm going to pick up my guitar and see if I can do that again. And I made another 10 songs that day. Then I realized what had happened. God had exploded the gift of music in me. I can write songs and make music but never at the drop of a hat, never willingly, because most people don't write songs that way. All right, and so from that moment on, I remember the following year I was offering to help all the teachers. That was in pilgrim schools. I would go to their classroom to teach their kids the Bible verse. They had a Bible verse. I would go there. They would tell me the Bible verse, and I will make a song right on the spot, and the kids will memorize it. And a lot of the teachers that will vouch for that, I did that for a lot of teachers. I did that. Even down to Hacienda Christian School, I was able to do that too, because the gift had exploded in me. The gift of making music, willingly whenever I want to, and it's still in me. So there's thousands and thousands of songs that I have made that I have forgotten. I'm just like the bird that can sing in the morning, and then doesn't remember the song, has another melody for another day. But that's a gift that was given to me 17 years into being sold into the scriptures. So this one of the songs that I wrote for one of memory verses a long time ago. And I thought I'd share that with you. Now let me see. I believe this one from Chronicles 7:14. I remember that one. back. I haven't played for a while. That's the one from Chronicles. A lot of people know that one. I think that President Pence likes to quote it a lot. Now I want to sing a song that has to do with what I'm going to talk about today. And it has to do with, that if we're going to take care of anything, whether it be any business or any nation, especially in corporations that, that are the one in charge of the world right now, there's one thing that they have to take care of, and that is adherence to the instructions of the manual or the patent of the product that's already been made. So all that they demand of the people that they hire is that they adhere, that they attach themselves to the schedule and also to the instructions. Because as long as those things are done, the products and services will be rendered. And they'll have a successful enterprise. Okay, so everybody that has a business, they make sure that the word is taken care of. And that's the word that's inculcated and taught to all their employees. Because it is the word that needs to be saved. It is the word that needs to be kept coherent, and pristine and pure, and without any corruption. Like in a computer, all the antiviruses, all the programs, make sure that there's no corruption in the files. It is the word that we have to take care of. And then everything where the word is placed upon, like the word is placed on us, then we automatically going to be taken care of. We are word carriers. But it is the word that is going inside of us that needs to be taken care of. So that's where everything starts. So because it is the word that made something, the only thing that can take care of the thing that it has made. The word that makes car is the only word that takes care of cars. So only the word of something that has been made has the ability to care or love, because to love is to take care of somebody the best possible way. Not with feelings, but the right direction to do the proper care for it. So that's one thing you need to understand. Everybody that tells you they're going to take care of you, and they are not your creators, and they have not the word of your creator, they are lying to you. Only the word that makes you can take care of you. Like only the word of the computer can take care of the computer. And the technicians that take upon themselves that word, they can take care of the computer because they have studied the word. So they have to take care of the word first and of the order that the word is giving them. And then they can take care of the thing that has been made by the word. Remember that. We're going to be talking about that. One of the things I learned in Christianity that they teach you to cry for souls there. But the interesting thing, when I go to the Bible, I see that David cries for the word, for the dabar being ignored and not being paid attention to. So he has a very sensitive, that's why he's called man after my own God. God calls him that because he's very sensitive to the way that the word is being treated. And today we're going to talk about, the purpose of the talk today is to exalt the word, the dabar, to the highest. Because it has very low esteem right now. The dabar has the lowest esteem right now ever in this history. Okay, so the purpose that I'm coming to relay this program to you is to raise the word esteem, the dabar esteem to the highest. And I'm calling it economy because that's the closest translation in Spanish, in English, or in Spanish, economía, that refers to the original word in Hebrew. Dabar, has many translations like business, like word, like promise, or announcement, but also they also use it in business, different translation, that they give it. But I give it economy because the formation of the word, the dalet, the beth, and the resh. The dalet is a door or gate, an entrance, like an administration or an entrance or access to something. The beth is a house, the household that applies in it, and the resh is the head or the ruler in charge of it. So it means access or administration of the house of the rules. So an administration of house of rules is eco nomos. Eco is a house, or nomos is rules. So that's why the closest translation in English that I can think of is in economy. So I'm going to teach you the bar as an economy. And we're gonna look at the point of reference at the matchless economy that was given to us from the very beginning, and which is still available, for everybody that wants to access it. Okay, and that's what I want to talk about today. But this is the song that talks about the way David felt about how when the word was ignored. It's a combination of two verses. I'm going to put it on the screen for you to sing along with it. It is time for thee, O Lord, to work on the heart. Thy Lord, mine eyes just cry a river of tears because we have not get by wrong. Mine eyes just cry a river of tears because we have not get by wrong. It is time for thee, just cry a river of tears because we have not kept thy law. Mine I just cry a river of tears because we have not kept thy law. It is time for thee, O Lord, just cry a river of tears because we have not kept thy law. Mine I just cry a river of tears because we have not kept thy law. It is time for thee to work. Crying there for the law, which is the Torah, Torah. I call it the teachings orderly regulating all humanity. Teachings orderly regulating all humanity, because all corporations, all nations have that to give you. If you're going to work for a company, they have the set of teachings orderly regulating all the human that they hire to be able to perform the job that they were asking to do for that company. You are going to become a citizen of a country, they have your teachings orderly regulating all the humans that are applying for citizenship there. So everybody has a Torah, a teaching to give, okay? And so everything is done by a certain order. And when that order is forgotten, then whatever the company represents is in ruins. Or even that country, if the ideals of the country are not taught, then all the citizens are there. Just being in the land doesn't mean you automatically are an American. You have to know the concepts. You know, I work for the citizenship immigration services, doing interpreting for them. And even though by the way, something I'll tell you, some of you, I'm not an American citizen. I'm just a permanent resident here. Okay, so I don't vote Republican or Democrat. I cannot vote because I'm just a permanent resident. Now, I do have my inclination to think the way that the Republicans do, but that does not make me a Republican. I have never voted in the United States, period. Okay, just so you know. Because we need to be as citizens of the bar, of the economy of the heavens, of the economy that created everything, and that's what I believe myself to be. I'm a Wardarian, a follower of the bar. And I want to exalt the bar, you know, which is, I learned this respect from the Torah, by the way. And that's why I exalt the Torah. Because, for one, well, you'll have to hear my story later on about this, but this is what this thing is about. So in this song, David is talking about, you know, they have made void that Torah, their teaching has been abandoned. You know, it's just like there was a beautiful city. Imagine there was a beautiful city that was kept by this teachings orderly regulating all humans there. And they kept in the city, and when those teachings were abandoned, then you see the whole city full of ruins and hips and just completely demolished. You know, then you feel sorry, you know, that this pristine, these teachings were abandoned because that's what kept everything in order. So yeah, that's what I have to think. When you only learn a word with no meaning whatsoever, just the sound of it, then every word is, as the teachings, orderly regulating of humanity. A card tells you exactly how to make a card, but if you only know the word card as a sounding symbol, just as a say the name, then the word card is void, and you cannot make any cards but consume them. That's the whole idea here. The first economy that was made, it was to reflect, to bring upon, to bear upon this world the character of our maker. Because you need to understand that words are basically used for three main things: to reveal a personality, like the movie industry, they reveal characters, and they make stars, people that become stars because of doing that. People that adhere to the character and always in character, and they do good movies. And also, the word is used to reveal the product. Okay, people make products, services, and to reveal how the product or service is done. And also, the word is used, okay, to reveal a program, even like a menu or a program of events. So for those three things, so personality, products, or a program, okay, and then if it's not used that way, then it's going to be used only to devour everything. That personality, devour the personality, but I mean, you're used to watch movies and not become a personality yourself, or you're used to devour the product and not produce any product yourself, or you're used to, enjoy the program and not produce any program yourself. So you're either using the word in the highest capacity by revealing those three things, or you're not. Okay, so that's what this whole thing is about. So let me just sing this part again, this song. It's a prayer that he's asking. It is time for thee, O Lord, to wipe for the thy Lord, mine I just cry a river of tears beyond. We have not kept thy Lord, mine I just cry a river of tears beyond. We have not kept thy Lord. It is time for thee, O Lord, to wipe for the never, thy Lord, mine I just cry a river of tears beyond. They have not kept thy Lord, mine I just cry a river of tears beyond. They have not kept thy Lord. It is time for the world. All right. So. All right. I think. All right, you can hear me. I have to remind myself to put this mic on. Sometimes I forget. But that's something to encourage us to learn some Bible verses there. And like I was saying there at that moment, like the economy I'm referring to here, of course, is the original economy. The bar. The bar. That's the correct word for the bar, which is word in Hebrew. The best translation for that, if you want to elevate it to the highest, to give it the highest, representation, is the word economy in English. Okay, because what, I don't know if you study, like if you understand the Gospels, when the phrase in the Gospels is used, enter the kingdom of heaven or enter the kingdom of God, those three phrases refers to the spelling of the bar. Enter means the gate, okay, the door, the daleth. The kingdom refers to the house, because in the Greek that would refer to basileia, the place where the people gather to discuss about order and about law. So whenever in the gospel that phrase is being used to enter, the kingdom. That means the Dalet to the house of rules, and the heaven is the height, is the head. Or it says God is the ruler. So the three, the Dalet, the Beth, and the Resh are in that expression to enter the kingdom of heaven. It's talking about how to run the word. Okay? So a lot of you have not paid attention when you read the gospel, but that's Jesus in the Bible was trying to elevate the use of the word the bar to the highest. Now he could think the best way to say it, so he would use that phrase: if you don't do this, you will not enter. You will have access to the. So he was telling you, for certain things, you will not. A lot of people think that this is about going to heaven, but in one gospel it talks about enter the kingdom of heaven. The other gospel says enter the kingdom of God, and everybody thinks it's just about going to heaven. He's talking about being able to access the use of the first economy. The first reason why the bar was given is for the economy. Okay, I was going to check on this. For the economy of revealing the Creator. Understand? Everything was there used for revealing His personality. We were made in His image, and He gave us a whole thing to reveal His personality. And then we be with Him, then we could have dominion over His creation. Like when you're hired by the CEO of a company and he guides you, he gives you the guidelines, you have dominion over that company because you are with the CEO following his guidelines. And so at the beginning, when God was telling me He made man, and then He made him to have dominion because He was going to be listening. Okay, so right there, when it says at the very beginning that He made him for the purpose of having dominion, right there is the promise of Israel, because in the name of Israel, that is the meaning that is encapsulated there. Israel means prince with God or leader with God. But you can only be a leader and a prince with Elohim, Elohenu, and it's a Jewish calling. But so from the very beginning, God was telling him that the purpose for which He made him is to have dominion, right? To have control over everything, but as long as he was following the voice of his maker. So right there is the promise of Israel. So Israel has to be forever, because when God formed the nation of Israel, it was just to emphasize that He had not changed His mind about the purpose for which He had made mankind. He had made him to be ruler over everything that He had made, but as long as he was Yisrael with Him, okay? And so that's the whole purpose, so that's why Israel is forever. Because God never changed His mind. He's not a man that He should change His mind. Okay, so He made it one purpose, and when He raised up the nation, later on, it was to continue the same purpose. And He chose that nation, to be a light unto the world, to be a guide unto the world. That's why they were supposed, they are the depository where the Torah is put in. And wherever they have gone, for the few that keep the word and they make it the completeness of the whole existence, He blesses those lands wherever they have scattered. And when there's very few of those left, then the lands, then the things go under. But it is very interesting when you read the whole story of how Israel has gone through the nations, But that is the thing to understand, So we are going to be leaders and have dominion over God's creation if we listen to the Maker. And that applies all across the board. You go work for a company, you'll have dominion over the boss's enterprise or what have you, but as long as you listen to his guidelines. There's no way of escaping, the teachings orderly regulating all humanity. Everybody has them. So that's across the board. So you realize that the fact that the corporations have all this system is because they're only copying from the original. But like I said at the beginning, the only economy that was there was just to reveal, the character of our Maker. Okay, we were not supposed to produce any plants because the plants were self-reproducing, self-regenerating. Okay, you were not to create work on any industries to create air conditioning. There was nice climate all the time. The weather was fine to begin with. The only thing we needed to do is to be in character. Listen to His word and be in the character of our Maker. Just like nowadays, what people admire the most, like movie stars, and they wish they could be like movie stars that are pampered and get all the attention. They have the pedicure done, the manicure, the pedicure. They're catered for everything. They serve their food. They do their hair. So everybody would like to be like them. All right. So, but what is it that they do? They just learn their lines. They learn the script and they're in character. Wherever they go, they're drinking their coffee, having the morning, walking around the place. They are learning the script and being in character. And for that, if they're really good at staying in character, they become great movie stars. And we all love them because of that. So that's what we had. We like just like the people of Israel were in the land. All there just for 40 years, by the way, they were there. So were they to get into the Torah, to get into the understanding of the mindset. Because when they went to the land that was promised to them, they were going to project those commandments into that. It wasn't that the land made them that. It was the word, the land of the Dabar, the land of promise. The word promise is Dabar. If the word of who God is isn't you, then you will be able to project that onto the land. Because we are projectors of anything that we learn. We project it, onto this word. So if we have nothing to project, we are only consumers wherever we go. So it has to be, the land of promise has to be in us before we can be in the physical land of promise. Because we have to project that promise. Otherwise, it's in vain. Unless the Lord or the Word builds the house, the labor in vain that build it. Understand? The instruction has to be given. All that phrases that you read in the Bible, I will give you the land that I sworn unto thy fathers. The word sworn, that expression there means to feed, to have fed 7 times. I mean, he inputted, he fed them into their soul 7 times. Okay, because that's the only way you have a guarantee of anything, whether a product or service or anything. Is when you learn, you teach technicians, you learn, then it's a guarantee. And that's what makes successful any company, is that they have what I call the land of promise. They have a warranty. A warranty, everybody has a product or service. They want to know that you have a warranty. You have a promise that you're going to take care of that product if it fails or if it's destroyed or anything, that you can renew it. You see, so when you know how to reveal a personality, when you know how to make a product, when you know how to create a service, then you can keep it renew, restore, refresh, and renew, whether it be a personality, product, or service. And then you are a guarantee. You see, so that's what they all want. They want that land of warranty, that land of promise that things are going to be taken care of. So that all this refers to Israel. Israel is so highly exalted, because that's the promise of what he made mankind for. And it's encapsulated in that name. Okay, so this is the whole thing. So in the first economy, as I'm referring to, the bar, as I explained, was all for the purpose. Men had nothing to do but to stay in character. That's why it says there many times you have to learn this book and you have to teach it to your kids, where you're walking with them, where you're sitting down to eat, everything to teach them to be in character. And for being in character, what was created for them? Everything. Everything was catered to them. Okay? Let me see if I can show you this part. If I have it, I think I left it here. Let's see if I can see it. Okay. No, not this one. Let me get that. This one. Let me think of the other one here. Shows me the picture of this book. This one. All right. The nature of crops. Why do we eat so few of the edible plants? Okay, let me shorten myself a little bit here so you can read more of this article. So this is something that I got. This is a book, by the way. This book here, The Nature of Crops, How We Came to Eat the Plants We Do, by John Warren. If you can get a hold of that book, it will be good. Very informative. It says we eat, here it says, we eat a meager 200 of the 300,000 edible plant species. Okay? So this guy says, in his book, that there's about 400,000 plants, 400,000 plants that he estimates there are in creation. And of those, 300,000 of them, are edible plants, okay? And then, but the nations, the industrial nations, just, make sure that about 200 of them get around to us. But imagine 200 out of 300,000, that's less than 1%. We have been deprived of more than 99% of the plants that were made for us to cater for our care and longevity and good health for years to come. Just because, we will not listen and to stay in character. So simple. It was just to do that. And for that, he created this magnificent garden full of all the vitamins and nutrients that once being in us, we could guarantee longevity, strong nails, nice hair, and all this kinds of stuff for long years to come, But people just, did not want to listen. That was just simple. I mean, you were not supposed to help the apple tree to make the apples, or to help the pears to make the pear, or the papaya to make the papaya. No, all these were self-replicating, and they were all able to reproduce themselves. They were all made in the FMR celebration, or called fruitful, multiply, and replenish. They were able to, celebrate their completeness by doing that, just like you and I are able to. And so this garden was created to cater for all our needs, And imagine that. So there was not going to be no sickness if you have access to all of that. But even if those 200 plants that industries recommend, that includes, by the way, condiments and some things that people use. But even of that, people don't even eat about 35 or 50 of those. So imagine you have guaranteed all governments and all industrial countries that you are going to be deficient. So that means they are going to make money out of your deficiency, out of your illnesses. They're going to make plenty of dough. They're going to sell and give you the food industry. I believe the FDA has approved about 600,000 products to be sold in the market for consumables for you, and all of them are processed. They've been deprived of all the nutrients, processed food, and the whole world is trained to do that. And so this is the whole situation. So we had a garden that would take care of us for a long time. That was the original economy. It was a self-reproducing garden. They did not need your help for you to do anything for it, And so it's a garden, what's it called? The garden of life. They want that each one, life, I like to put like, let's impart fruitfulness everywhere, L-I-F-E. Let's impart fruitfulness everywhere. We all, of the product that we can make, we just impart it and send it everywhere as a celebration of our completeness. That was the garden of life. And the math to govern the garden of life is what I call magical math and unpredictable math. Okay? Because the math that all so-called mathematicians, I used to teach math, so I know what I'm talking about. They like the math that is manageable and is predictable. That's why they like math, because they can manage something, they can control something, and they can predict it. But in the garden of life, and by the way, when they want them to be managed and controlled, this is what I call the garden of lack. They create needs that are not necessary, but they create it, and then they tell you for the substituted needs that you're going to get, and then they count everything, and that's how they control everything. But the example for that I've given in the past is like the regular math that we know is that we have one thing here, like I'm with my toothbrush here, one toothbrush here and one pencil here. You have two things, right? Okay. And but with God is you have one woman here and one male here. You don't have two there. You can have 3, 4, 5, depends how many times they get together. Even if they get together, one of them have twin or triples. So putting one and one together does not create one in the garden of life. It creates many. You can plant 1 tree, and of that tree, 100 or 1,000 trees can come, because all the fruits that will come out of it is a guaranteed tree once it falls on the ground, the seed again. So in the garden of life, things are magical. One can create plenty. Two can create plenty. It doesn't work like that. 1 and 1 is 2. It's just incalculable. It's uncontrollable. It cannot be controlled. And I found out just about a month ago, I was reading an article that there's some, they call it an anomeric tribes that they found in Amazon, going all the way to Nicaragua. Anomeric tribes means that these are tribes that don't have words in their dialect. They don't have words for numbers. You understand what that means? I mean, they have words for all kinds of things, but when it comes to numbers, they only have a word for some, few, or many, but they don't have the words for number like we have 1, 2, 3. They don't have that, and because they are fed by the jungle. So the jungle, the jungle feeds them with everything in their due season. So they don't fighting for food. They live for that. So there's no need to count how much you get. When there's plenty in your environment and you're surrounded by a garden of life, there's no fighting for food or fighting for what is mine and what is yours. There's no need to count those things. So you understand? So there was all these things. When we created all this sophisticated, garden of lack, so-called sophisticated, but actually I call it a retarded garden, because here we have man-made plants and factories that cannot reproduce themselves. The Apple company cannot just plant the software in the ground and then the apple the iPod, it grows out of the ground. No, he needs us. They're all retarded because he needs us. He needs our own strength. We have to learn how to make it. We have to learn how to take care of it. So by the knowledge that is in us, we take care of a very deficient garden, and we think that that deficient garden is what makes us, move ahead in this world. But like I said, the first economy is an incomparable economy, the organic economy that still surrounds us, and it's still bigger than all of us. Even just in the insects world, I was reading about how much is the weight of all the insects in the world compared to the weight of all humans. The weight of the insects is 35 times more than all the humans in the world. So imagine that the weight of insects in the world. I'm talking about everything that crawls on the ground, things under the sea, all the insects that exist, just the insect. I'm not talking about anything else. Outnumber the weight of humans in the planet 35-1. And we have no control of these insects. They do their own job without we telling them what to do. We don't control them to Wi-Fi or anything. Just to tell you, just in that. And we have all the creatures in the oceans that we don't know the numbers of. So don't believe what people telling you that we are controlling the environment. The environment is way bigger than us. All right? So, but we have no control over that, And that is still controlled by the Dabar. Because what God gave for all plants and all organic materials, the RNA for plants, the DNA for us. All right? And the DNA is still taking care of us today. And the DNA is really the particle inside of you that I call the best doctor. Because, I used to tell my students in high school, like, we hear politicians talking about the healthcare system. It will be good that everybody has access to the healthcare system and what have you. And then I used to tell them, wouldn't it be a good healthcare system if each one of you had an individual doctor for yourself, your own private doctor? They will say, oh, yeah, it'll be great, but it will not be affordable. Nobody will be able to afford that, So everybody agrees that will be a great thing, but it's not affordable by our economy, means by the way that we use money and the way we employ it. But I told them, I can give you one better than that. What if you could get a private doctor for each one of the cells in your body? What would you call that healthcare system? Unmatchable, incomparable. It doesn't compare to anything. Unsurpassable. That would be something. And that's the original economy, because each one has a DNA assigned to each one of our cells. Each one of our cells, there's a DNA that knows exactly how the whole body should be looking at all times. Imagine that. And this DNA is what I call Dr. No Ailment, because if we had put all the right nutrients and minerals and everything in our body, each DNA will be strong, and we'll know exactly how to take care of us. But because all these things are lacking, that's how we age and we suffer all kinds of ailments. Because the DNA is not able to replicate itself properly, okay? But if those things were in the ground, if we were getting all the things, we'll be fine, So you got to know what to put in your mouth. But this is part of the original economy, that all these things were provided, So when we look at that point of reference, that everything was managed by the word, the DNA, and the trees have done everything, have their own RNA, and all these things, managed by the word, and even the Dabar, the one that pollinates, the Deborah, the bee has the letters of the Dabar in it, because that's the female counterpart of the word Dabar. Dabar is male, Deborah is female. So he understands that everything is run by the word, and that's the original garden. So that's what we were given, okay? And that's still running everything, by the way, okay? And so, but we have encapsulated in these little cities, in gardens made out of the garden of lack, where we are just, we hire a few people just to learn the products and services, and we deprive them from the fact that the fact that they know that knowledge makes them really owners of what they make, because the real owner of something is the one that works with their own hands to make it. But you're not taught that in your companies. You're taught that everything belongs to the bosses. But I'll explain that in another lecture. But I'm beginning to give you just a little background as to the point of reference, that we abandoned, and professing and thinking that we were going to become smarter, we have become more stupid. That's why it says in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28, I will give you over to madness and stupidity, and all of that if you don't listen to my word. And one thing that I find fascinating, when you count the number of characters in the whole Torah, remember that I told you this, and approximately says here 300 edible plants for the body, Okay, but here where you find the signature of the maker, right? There's 304,805 characters, Hebrew characters, in the original Torah given. Not counting the vowel sounds. So I'm talking just the consonants because they're all consonants in the original. There's 304,805 consonants. When I was able to see that, that as I was doing my studies, I was counting that, and then I have figured that out first because I was just wanted to know how many letters Hebrew, and then I was wondering, could there be about 300,000 eatable plants? That's what crossed my mind at that time, And I went and Googled it, and then I came across this book, you know, confirming, the signature of the Maker that he also, for this body of flesh, 300,000 edible plants. Imagine that. And like I said, people not even eat 35 of those. And also, for the Torah, 304,805 characters, the sequence and order of it. And people don't even know half of that sequence or order. Not even 20 or 10% of that sequence. I don't even know it myself. But I'm so in awe of this that my thing is I'm going to learn. I have determined myself that this decade now we started, in less than the decade, I'm going to memorize everything in the Hebrew in the right sequence back and forth. That's my goal now. Besides putting a song to each one of the songs, because I'm able to do that now with the exploded gift of music that I have. I'm also, going to learn that. I'm determined that I'm going to do that. I'm going to learn the sequence of that in the Hebrew language, because that is the map of creation. That is everything. It's clearly that everything is there. But I'm telling you, this is an amazing economy that we were given, and still running everything, by the way. The fact that we are blind to it doesn't mean he's not running it, But we need to go back to the heritage that was given to us, and don't be surprised by all these things that's surrounding you, because the economy as it is right now is a very weak economy. All things that are going on, this is something that the elites and the politicians like. They thrive in chaos because they make themselves seem more important, that they are needed. You understand? But the external governments are not really needed, when you have more access to the original economy. Because you realize, like for me, I don't have access to all these products, but because of my fastings, that I've done a lot of fastings, I fast every year at least 40 days each year, and your immune system becomes very strong. You fasting, all kinds of fasting, you strengthen your immune system, so you're constantly healthy. You're producing human growth hormone. You remain youthful. When you fast, you create resveratrol in of itself. You don't need it from grapes. Your body creates it. So there's all kinds of things that I subject my body to. So I keep healthy that way, But the thing is, so once you have a lot of things in yourself, like I explained in the previous, I gave myself the the COVID-19-MAN, that name, because my lifestyle will destroy the economy if people adopt it. Because I just eat once a day. I don't visit doctors. I don't see anything of that, because I eat as close to the garden as possible, and I don't consume any junk, no sugars, no wheat, none of that stuff, So even though I had my year that was really bad in 2003, once I learned the right way of going, I haven't had any sickness whatsoever since then. Okay, so going back to the original garden makes you very independent of all these external governments. Now, like I said, this external economy wants to take advantage of this right now, because with all this pandemic going on, they're going to use this like, look, man, the virus can be in the dollar bill, so we have to go into a cashless society. We have to put a little chip on you and be able to track you down, and be able to transfer everything electronically, so you'll have everything. And everybody now is going, oh yeah, man, let's not have any of this happening again. Let's go for the chip. Let's have a cashless society. All of these things is part of the program that they have. Okay, you understand? So this is all part of it. So there's a plan behind all this that's happening. The elites have a plan for it, but they fail to see that the maker of all things, he knows that way ahead of time why he's doing what he's doing. And so don't you worry about it. I will explain to you why things are not going to go their way. Okay? Even though they think they are. But I'll have to do it this week as I go. I try to do it more often this week. I'll be able to talk to you. But this is just to give you a start, not to despair. things are not as bleak as they seem. You are weak because you don't eat right. So you do stay in your houses, don't go anywhere because your system is weak. Simple as that. I mean, that's the fact. You don't fast, you don't eat right. So they know that you're deficient, and this kind of virus can get to your system and destroy you. So don't go outside. Don't expose yourself to anything that will bring you harm. Do follow that. But do not despair because we are in the cloud right now, as it was promised and prophesied, and we're sitting together and we're going to share with each other the things that God is planning to do and how He has done things. Okay, so that I will relate to you as this coming week. We'll see what we can do. But thank you now for your time. Okay, now let's see how we do this.